Welcome to this presentation about League of Legends Call Maker, an app that gives you and your friends calls in-game. In this video I want to show you what the app does and how it works, so you can try it out yourself if you want to.
Don't use your Q ability from now on. Your enemy is already pretty limp, so don't use your summoner spell exhaust from now on. Fast. Activate your E ability. Fast. Activate your R ability. Congratulations! You have enough gold to buy a large rod. Do that to become even stronger. Oh, there was a thunderstorm warning. You can use your summoner spell flash again. Seems like you died. To not die again, you should perform a push-up for every death you have.
First of all, I want to show you how the calls are being set up. For that I've created a call editor. There you can create a new call set or edit an existing one. For the demonstration purpose I just create one called presentation to show you how everything works. So now you have 4 menus: general, calls, types and localization. In general you set up the map and the mode. In this case I just leave it on Summoner, Swift and Classic. Next we have types. There you could set up, for example, speech, and then in the calls you associate the call with the type, so you can filter them out, for example, if you want to play around without having to say something verbally. Next up, localization. This is just for translating stuff. So you would set up, for example, call one name and then select English. This is a test, and you would do the same with the with the description. This is a test description, and that's basically it. You would do that for every call, and then only the IDs matter later on. So now the call menu, that's of course the most important one. You create a new one by clicking on the plus, and then you can just click on the call which was created. You have many sub-menus where you can set up when the call should occur and other stuff. For example, here the name which will be displayed. We just said this is a test, this is the translation for that. Next we have description, same thing. The description which will be displayed. Then we have on which lanes the call will occur. Here where it will definitely occur. So for example, I wanted to make a call for mid lane, and then I can also select lanes from a bigger variety. So if I wanted to select 2 of 3 lanes where the call should occur, I would do it like this. Next up is time. By default, the call can occur the whole game, but you can of course also say that it should start at 10 minutes, for example, and have an undefined ending. So just during the whole game then after 10 minutes. And you can also say it starts at, or it lasts a minimum of 30 seconds and a maximum of 1 minute. Next up is the audio. Currently only text to speech is supported, but later on you can also select audio files. So you would select the text to be said when the call occurs. I just take description again, and when it ends I just take description again for demonstration purposes. Next up, as I said, types, you can toggle them. So if you wanted the user to say something, you would toggle it on here, and then it can be filtered later on. Then we have items. There you can set up required or forbidden items, or that certain items must be bought or sold, or that certain items must be activated. And it looks like this. You just toggle this checkbox and then you can set it up in-game in own team or in enemy team. If I said I wanted it to be in my own lane, on the lane where the call actually occurs on, I would just, for example, I wanted boots on the lane the call occurs on. I would select boots everywhere. And then just toggle the checkbox, apply condition only for affected lanes. So it's only checked for the lane where the call occurs on. So not everyone actually has to have boots. It's the same with items which must be bought or sold. You just select them. And with activation it's again the same. Next, champions. Again the same thing. You just select the champions. You can filter them here at the top, but the filtering is really bad. Like, who would play Swain jungle? But you can also just search for them. It's maybe easier. Then we have summoner spells. Again the same thing. You get the idea. You just select them. Great. Next we have abilities. There you can say, okay, certain abilities have to be activated, or certain abilities must be on a certain level. For example, if you wanted the player to activate the Q ability, you would say, okay, Q has to be at least level 1, else you can't activate it. Next, champion stats. You can just add a condition here, and you can select which stat has to fulfill a certain condition. For example, I want the attack damage to be between 50 and 100. I would set it up like this. If I wanted more conditions, I would just add a new condition. Then runes works just like the blind rune tree. You just select primary runes, which have to be. You can also skip some, of course. So now the player has to have Conqueror, Triumph, and I don't know what that is. Same with secondary, and here the stat runes. Same thing. Then events, in-game events. You can add a new condition, and then you want, for example, a turret to be destroyed. You can say, okay, event ID. It's not really necessary, but you can set it up. Event time. Which turret was destroyed? You can select several, and one of them has to match. And yeah, that's basically it. You do that with every event. Alright. Next, score. Self-explanatory. You just set up the values for the score of the player. And miscellaneous. You can ask for gold, level, respawn timer if the player's dead. It's very useful if you want the player to perform an action. Just check here that he is not dead, so this checkbox is not ticked. And yeah. After you set up every call and want to play a game, you have to join a server. For that you need a server instance, and that's what I'm going to show you now. This is just another application where you host a server on a certain port. So default port is 61357. You just have to port forward it in your router, else it won't work. So if I click on start server, the server is running. I can input the IP address of the server. Because it's running on the same computer, I can just use localhost in this case. If you wanted to use it with your friends, you would have to share your public IP address with them. But for demonstration purposes, localhost is of course enough. So now I would press join server, and now you see nothing. That's just great, because now if I go to League and create a game, it will imitate the lobby, and if other people joined with callmaker active, they would appear here too. And now the host, the player with the crown, has options, and now you can select your call set presentation with how often calls should occur and with which variation. Now I've just hooked up another account and I will start a game.